Good evening and welcome back. It is another Wednesday and April seems to be flying. And the thought that I want to share tonight comes from a video that I was watching on Blaxit Global with Krishan Wright, who is the host, Dr. Kamani from Lifting as We Climb, and Marissa Price. And the title of that show is Sis, Let That Job Go, Why It's Time to Pivot with Power. And the statement that lingers for me, that kind of really has stayed with me as I've been thinking about what I wanted to share is this the life I want for myself? And so the idea of pivoting is what I want to discuss this evening. So let's get started. So before I get into that conversation, let me introduce you to the channel. Welcome to Not All the Things. This is a space for success-driven, mature women of color. This is a space for us to talk about work-life balance. That's what this conversation is going to be, wellness and wine. And today, I'm actually having a can you see this? Wait, let me get this turned around. South African Chenin Blanc. My girlfriend got this for me, and she said, she jokingly said, I ordered all of my international wines to come before the tariffs so I could be fully stocked. So I laughed, and this one, it has a very clean, dry, kind of tart smell. It's not sweet, but it's very nice. It's like almost like a lemon base. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, I do talk about wine on this channel also. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you'll stay. Click the like button. Think about subscribing. It's free. I am trying to grow my subscriptions to at least 200. I'm about 24, 25 away. So feel free to join. And if you are coming back, welcome back. Go ahead and get yourself a glass of wine. It will not be a long one, but I do think it will be thoughtful for us to be thinking about what it means to pivot. So I wanted to start this conversation off with a graphic or visual because I thought that would really help to set the context. And the one that seems to be one of the most famous ones is from Friends, where they're trying to move this furniture, this whole couch into a space. And he's yelling, pivot, 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 right? Change the direction, change, make an adjustment so that it can get into the space. And so I thought this is somewhat apropos to kind of have this visual. And then I looked on Webster's definition, and there were actually like 4 different definitions, but the one that really spoke to me as I was thinking about what this conversation should be is really around this, a usual marked change, especially an adjustment or modification made either to a product, to a service, or to a strategy in order to adapt or improve. And so the idea of pivot sometimes has I'll say a negative connotation connected to it. And I think in this manner in which we're speaking, in which Blaxit Global was talking, is that you need to be able to pivot with power. You need to be able to be like, yes, I am making this modification, I am making this change because it is going to improve something for me in my life. And so I just thought, let's level set with this visual and this definition as we begin our conversation. The first reason why one might need to pivot is because they're seeking some kind of greater flexibility and work-life balance. I was doing a little bit of research, and it was stated that 90%, or actually 97% of women believe that if they requested a more flexible schedule within their working arrangements, that it could negatively impact them and how they are seen for promotions or even leading to some sort of career dissatisfaction. And I thought, damn, 97% is a high number. Yet since COVID, many of us have been working modified schedules, hybrid schedules, and therefore wanting to have more flexibility because of the demands that they have on their lives, right? And so I know personally, I really appreciate the fact that I'm only on site 2 days to 3 days out of the week. And that flexibility helps me to really decide how I'm spending my time. I also feel like I'm working much more because of it. I'll work late into the night, I'll work on the weekends. But if you are not able to really seek this kind of flexibility, you might need to pivot. And you're pivoting because that idea of how am I going to really manage my professional and personal time so that I can, be my best self is really what's weighing on you. So I do think reason number one is a strong reason for folks to pivot. And it really has to be up to you to say whether or not you're able to get that. I don't think it hurts to ask for the flexibility. I have folks who ask me all the time, can I work remote this week? I'm not able to. I myself have had to work remote so that I could help out with extended family situations. And so when you're not able to do that, it really starts to weigh on you. And we know we can be productive. We don't have to be on site to be productive. And so figure out if this is a reason for you and then decide how you want to move. If you're not able to have that flexibility, then you have to weigh whether or not that's enough for you to feel like this is not working, especially if you've been at your job for a long time and you've not asked for anything. And right now, what you need, you should be able to ask for it. So seeking some kind of greater flexibility and work-life balance, I think, is the least, considering that you're going to grind and you're going to continue to do the work at the high level that you can. All right. Reason number two, you have a desire for meaningful and purpose-driven work. And if you're not feeling that, you may need to pivot. And right. And so what does that look like? Only you can define what that looks like. Right? If you've been in your role and you can't seem to grow within that role, and you are wanting to explore other options, and you talk to your boss or you talk to your manager and you say, listen, I really would like to do something more here. Hopefully they're able to hear you and hopefully they're able to respond. But there are many folks who that conversation falls on deaf ear, and therefore they are not feeling like they can continue to do the work that they're doing because it just doesn't drive them anymore, and it doesn't make them happy. And so I think there's about 60%, is that what I found? 60% of the women who are planning to shift gears in their careers, most of the time they're shifting gears to become more self-employed for themselves, becoming freelancers, doing the work that they are doing for other people, but for themselves, making other folks really good money and deciding, you know what, I could do that job for me, right? So the pivot is because they either want to find more meaning or they want to be more purpose-driven. And so I love the idea of the desire to find something that speaks to you, especially if you have been in your job for over, I don't even know, 10, 15, 20 years. You know it well. And it doesn't feel like a challenge, and it doesn't feel like it is meeting your own personal needs. As you mature, and grow, you may need to be in an environment that has you mature and grow. So your pivot may need to happen. That meaningful impact might need to happen because you say it's time, not because somebody else is saying it's time. And if you're hearing those little like, they messing with you in some way, maybe it is time, right? So this, I think, is a reason number 2 is a really good reason to also pivot. Reason 3, and this is one we hear a lot. There are a ton of sisters out there who are experiencing career burnout. They have been doing the job. They have been doing it well. They feel undervalued. They feel that no one is seeing them. They are consistently looking for acknowledgement, and it's not happening. It's not happening in the space that they're in. They're actually threatened by you. And so that burnout will cause you to pivot, will cause you to say, enough already. And some statistics that showed up in this was that about 40% of women who are looking for new employment cite that they are burnt out as one of their main reasons for leaving. That's a pretty big number. Almost 40%. It's probably more than 40%. It's probably closer to 50%. But what I found spoke to 40% of folks looking to leave because they're just exhausted. They're burnt out. They're not really seeing their career growing in the way that they would like it to grow, and therefore they need to pivot. And you know what? You don't have to stay any place that doesn't show you and offer you value, or that you feel that you are valued for the work that you have put into it. And so that is definitely a reason to modify, shift, and change strategy. And that strategy should be to give you an opportunity to step away and step back and readjust what makes sense for you. And you know it wouldn't be me if I didn't have a bonus. And I would say the bonus is where I live. The idea of seeking new challenges. My pivot, the one that is coming, the one that I cannot wait to share with you all, really has a lot to do with the idea of seeking a new challenge. I am very fortunate that I have a wonderful work environment, and I have not experienced a lot of those reasons why people have pivoted or want to pivot, but I am a knowledge seeker. I am someone who loves a new challenge, and I am always modifying, growing, and expanding. And so for me, my pivot really lives in this area of seeking a new challenge. And so what I would ask all of you is to reflect, right? Because you can't do anything without reflection, and to be honest with yourself and say, where am I? And is this the life that I want for myself in my job, in my career? Am I at the place where I need to pivot, or is this good? And it could be good, and you just need a sabbatical. You just need a break. You just need to stand back. I don't know. But what I will say is, if you think a pivot might be beneficial for you, pivot in power. And don't think that you can't stand on your own and improve and make the change that you seek, because it's only going to make you better. And if it doesn't work out, then it's okay, because you're going to learn something from that also, right? So I would just have you keep in mind that to pivot is not a negative thing. It is a way for you to grow. It is a way for you to strategize in a different manner. You might pivot because you're seeking greater flexibility. in your work-life balance, and I get that totally. You might pivot because there's a desire for more meaningful and purpose-driven work. You might pivot because you're having a career burnout. You are just tired. You have been doing it and you don't really feel the love from the work. Or you might pivot because you're seeking a new challenge and that the environment might be fine, but you are open to grow. And that's also important too. So I'm going to cheers to you all. And I cannot wait to share with you some of the new challenges that I have coming up really soon. Cheers, and remember not to be doing all of the things. See you next week. I hope some of those reasons resonated with you in some way, and that if you know of someone who could use this conversation, that you would share. I am trying to get to my 200 subscribers, so please help me do so and pass this on. And also in the comments, I would love to hear if you've ever thought about or ever considered a career pivot. What prompted that thought? What's been going on for you? And what does meaningful work look like? How do you define meaningful work? Please drop that in the comments. Let me know. I will read the comments and respond and get back to you. So thanks again.